Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, this is Mohammad Farooq Siddiqui, teaching English grammar at GETS Preparations, Dera Ghazi Khan. Last time we discussed combination mistakes. In combination mistakes, we discussed combination of words in general, collocation based, usage of fanboys, and use of subordinate conjunctions. Today we are going to complete this topic, this combination topic, with discussing conditionals. We have two aspects, as we all know very well. In conditionals, we have conjunctions as well as we have prepositions. On one hand, we have conjunctions and on the other hand we have prepositions. Both can work as conditional result clauses. In conditional conjunctions, we have if. On the top we have unless, that is equal to if not. We have provided, we have providing, we have suppose, we have supposing, we have in the beginning of a sentence we have imagine. I tell you frankly, dear students, that our job here at MDCAT level is to broaden our view about conditionals. Imagine, if it starts a sentence, it is conditional and it is normally used as subjunctives. Then we have as long as, we can have so long as, we can have in case. As prepositions, we have two prepositions. On the top is in case of, and the second one is in the event of. All of us know very well, a conjunction takes a clause. I did emphasize it in my subordinate conjunctions. And a preposition takes noun or a noun phrase. Let's have an example to distinguish between the usage of conjunction and a preposition. If I write down a sentence, she laid some extra cups in case of anybody called. Let's do it, my dear students. We have to pick, to distinguish. As we know, in case is a conjunction, it takes clause. In case of is a preposition, it takes noun or a noun phrase. What follows this? We have anybody, this is the subject. We have called, this is the verb. So any structure that has this combination of SV is called a clause. So we pick in case, we don't pick in case of. First problem that can occur, that can be made in the conditional use of conditionals is the use of conjunction and a preposition. The next mistake that is very common with the examiners is using double conditional. The examiners are used to making a mistake called double conditional. What is the use of double conditional is, like I write a sentence, suppose if you had been an unusual little child. What happens here is, we have in the beginning of a sentence suppose, and we have this if. Suppose or supposing, they can follow that. Provide or providing, they can follow that. All of these are conditional conjunctions. We have if, we have suppose, both are conditional conjunctions. So using a double conditional is wrong. One of them must be incorrect. This is called the use of double conditional in conditional sentences. Next, often the mistakes that the students face in examinations are using those conditionals called zero conditional, conditional 1, conditional 2, conditional 3. So let's talk about the zero conditional sentences. If I make them a heading, I would like to make a heading for them is the conditional sentences. These are the number one, we have a zero conditional. This we have, in this we emphasize two things we generally learn. A zero conditional is when on one hand there is a condition and on the other hand there is a result clause. So this structure, if it were a zero conditional, it must focus. The condition clause must take any subordinate conjunction like if plus first form or the addition of s or es, and as a result clause in a zero conditional condition must take if plus first form with necessarily addition of s or es, and as a result we can say it takes verb first form of verb with the addition of s or es. This combination we use. Why? As students we have a question, and that is, why do we have a zero conditional? Why do we face a zero conditional? The reason being that if the idea presented is a fact, if the idea presented is a reality, if the idea presented is a scientific fact, we must use zero conditional. Why do we have zero conditional? Is on one side it has condition, on the other side it has result. If the condition and result both are focused on a fact, a reality, or a scientific fact or a scientific idea, it becomes zero. And how do we create a zero conditional? Is we have if conjunction or any conjunction, it takes first form of verb, the simpler sentences, simple present tenses on both sides, and if required, if necessary, we can add s or es to the first form of verb. Let me have an example. Like, if if we boil water, comma, it evaporates, or it will evaporate. What should we pick? It is a scientific idea. It is a truthful idea. It is a fact. It always happens this. So we have boil, simple present, first form of verb, and then we use evaporates and not will evaporate. A formula, a simple kind of recognition for the zero conditional is, if this subordinate conjunction, any subordinate conjunction, can be replaced with every time. If these subordinate conjunctions can be replaced with every time, simply speaking, the sentence becomes a zero conditional. You can replace this if with every time. Every time we boil water, it evaporates. So every time sentence is complete, it is a zero conditional. On both sides we have first form of verb. On both sides we have first form of verb. Here we required an addition of s, so we added s to it. This is called zero conditional. Let's have the next conditionals as conditional 1. This is the conditional 1. What would be the difference with the zero conditional and the conditional 1? If the sentences are to be conditional, they must fulfill two things. We must take two things side by side. On one side, there must be a condition and on the other side there must be a result. These two things will go side by side. If we are going to term it conditional 1, the difference between a zero conditional and the conditional 1 is the fact that we express. Here we have only a future possibility. We are emphasizing a future happening. We are not talking about a fact. We are focusing on a future possibility. In the condition, we can have this if conjunction, and this if conjunction can follow any present tense, like it can follow first form with the required SRES addition. It can also follow is, am, are plus an ing structure, and it can also follow has or have plus third form of verb. All of these structures are possible in conditional 1. All of these three structures are possible. As a result, we use will, shall, can, may, and then it has first form of verb. This follows the first form of verb. Look at this sentence. This is the combination of tenses that we use while using conditional 1. Let's have a sentence. If I say, if we will stay or stay here, we will change or we change. First of all, dear students, let's have an insight while using conditionals.